finally made it.
Radiant
The break
team
took
ban.
forever, but we finally have our game. We got
ban.
DPL 2018. Ignore the 2016 up the top. You don't see that. It's not there. It's 2018. This is
Radiant
DPL
team
Top
ban.
Season 1. We got VGJ.Thunder versus LGD. As you can see, VGJ.Thunder were given a default win for Game 1 because LGD were having, from what I understand, they were having internet issues at their team house. Their internet was completely down. And as a result, they made the decision, okay, we're going to go to a net cafe and set up. So that's where we've been for like the last hour or so, is LGD traveling to this net cafe and setting everything up. So hopefully they are ready to play. They've only got one game to play. This is the last game for the evening as well. I'm keen to get through this game and then, you know, maybe go and have some dinner. That'd be nice.
10 seconds remaining.
But no big deal. We can get ourselves into this one. VGJ.Thunder
5
already...
seconds
They
remaining.
2-0'd their earlier series, but it did not look easy. Sylar had to buy
Radiant
3
team
rapiers
ban.
in 2 games just to get them over the line, and that second game they were down 2 lanes of racks. They definitely had their backs up against the wall, and hopefully they can make this series look a little bit easier, but I think they do have a slightly more formidable opponent here in LGD, so we shall have to see what ends up
Radiant
happening.
team pick.
We got a bunch of pushing heroes banned out by LGD Gaming. They get rid of the Nature's Prophet, which VGJ.Thunder have been trying out a little bit. The DP and the I was about to say the Sylar, but the DP and the Lycan, both very common picks for VGJ.Thunder, so they're going to be banned out, and that means they are going to
10
get pushed
seconds
out of their
remaining.
comfort zone just a little bit.
5 seconds remaining.
What else is going on? What have recent results been looking like for LGD? So they actually these two teams played against each other yesterday in the Epicenter XL qualifiers, and that series went to VGJ.Thunder 2-1. So there is a little bit of additional context here in terms of the overall
Radiant
standings
team pick.
for this event. We are in Group B. VGJ.Thunder have only played the 1 game so far, so they have 2 points with their 2-0. LGD, quite a bit more advanced in their group. They are 1-2-0, so 1 win, or 1-2-0,
10
2
seconds
draws,
remaining.
and no losses, which puts them at 4 points, and that
5
puts them in the
seconds
number 2
remaining.
spot
LGD's
at the
turn
moment.
to
But
pick.
it's going to be important to win some points here, since there's actually still quite a few games left to be played over here in Group B. 1, 2, 3, so 4 other matches other than this game, so still plenty of points up for grabs, and especially for
10
VGJ.Thunder, who still
seconds
have
remaining.
4 games to play, actually. So the
5
only other
seconds
match other than
remaining.
VGJ.Thunder games are it's Newbie versus eHome. It looks like, yeah, that's it. It's just Newbie versus eHome, and that's it. And everybody else has to play VGJ.Thunder. Poor old Team Max, already eliminated.
Radiant
0-0
team
and 5. We'll bid them farewell, and that'll probably be the last we hear from them. That'll probably be the last mention of them for the rest of the DPL. Unless, of course, we're talking about the series that VGJ.Thunder played a bit earlier. We got a Sand King Jakiro. VGJ.Thunder do seem to like this Jakiro
10
pick quite a bit.
seconds remaining.
Like I was saying earlier, I think a big thing that they've been trying to focus on after some of those
5
losses against
seconds
VP and
remaining.
EG is having more early game pressure, more early game tower taking potential, really start to lock down the map as much as possible, and I think the Jakiro is quite good for that. I also like Jakiro quite a bit as a hero, especially early in your draft, because it feels like he leaves you the flexibility to not necessarily pick as much
LGD's turn
push
to ban.
and be
Radiant
able to
team
actually just
ban.
go after team fight a little bit more. You know, if you have a Jakiro, it's not a completely reliable way necessarily to break the high ground, but in a pinch, if you feel like, oh no, there's this perfect pick that we could go for, but then we won't have any building hitters, and so we won't be able to
10
end the game.
seconds
Jakiro
remaining.
can at least, like, you're like, oh, okay, we got Jakiro, we got Liquid Fire, we can still take some buildings,
5 seconds
even if our lineup
remaining.
isn't really designed to do that. So that's something I really like about Jakiro. LGD going for some pretty standard stuff. Tusk, Gyrocopter, very familiar faces for the current patch. Omni Knight going to get banned out. Definitely fairly, well, not super an annoying hero, but I think the main reason that they banned it out is that it copes fairly well with this kind of lane. You can repel TP. You got repel against the homing missile. Very, very nice to have. Keeper of the Light going to be banned. LGD, in terms of their position 5, there's still some very premium position 5 heroes available in the pool. Bane's still there. Witch Doctor's still there. This is actually an amazing Rubik game already against the Sand King Jakiro. Both of these two heroes are... Jakiro's great because he's a consistent steal. Like, even if you're still dual breath, you're not that unhappy. Ice Path is quite easy to get. All of Jakiro's cast animations and his backswings are fairly long, so it's actually pretty easy to get whatever spell you want out of him. And then Sand King, if you can get that burst strike, that's always sick. So
5 seconds
I could definitely see a Rubik being picked up here. Batrider once again going to be banned up by VGJ.Thunder. They just really don't seem to like dealing with this hero at all. I think it puts maybe undue pressure, or like amount of pressure that they don't really like on their safe lane. They do prefer to really move their supports around a whole bunch. So we shall see what everybody gets up to here.
Radiant team pick.
What else could VGJ.Thunder go for here? We've been seeing quite a bit of Underlord. I think it's an interesting matchup against Gyrocopter. On the one hand, I think Gyro does fairly decently against him in lane, but then later on in the game, the Pit and the Firestorm are actually both quite annoying for Gyro to deal with. There's still a Brewmaster in the pool, but I think a Brewmaster would get very swiftly answered with LGD picking up a Witch Doctor, and then Brewmaster wouldn't really be able to contest this lane at all. Both teams have very good potential tri-lane setups right now, which I think makes it a little bit less likely that we'll be seeing kind of a tri-lane versus tri-lane. But VGJ.Thunder have to show us a core at this point. I mean, the Sand King could be a core. They could grab another support, but just going to go for the puck. We saw a bit of a weird puck game from Freeze earlier, going for the Veil and the Yules before he went for a Blink, which was definitely out of the ordinary. It is certainly a good offlane hero potentially against this Gyro Tusk. You don't really get caught out that easily.
5 seconds remaining.
Can always just orb your way over the top of the shards. Can always dodge the homing missile with Phase Shift. So I could definitely see that here for VGJ.Thunder. They are going to have to pick themselves up some physical damage somewhere, but as we've seen, Sylar, he knows how to buy rapiers, so I don't think they're in too much trouble when it comes to that. Could see the Jug come out once again. I think it's fairly decent in this position. Lifestealer could be alright. We could see some Luna. They've been playing that a little bit recently. In terms of mid, I could see that Lena that they've been trying out a little bit. Yeah, Rubik is just it's too good here. It ticks too many boxes. I could kind of see an argument for a Lion or something
LGD's
instead.
Turn to pick.
But
Phantom Assassin.
yeah, Rubik is just too good in this situation. Instant disable against Puck. Amazing steals. VGJ.Thunder are going to go for a Phantom Assassin, which I quite like against Gyro. You just burst him in the early to mid game. Definitely a really annoying laning hero as well. I don't know if this is going to be VGJ.Thunder going aggro or anything like that. PA probably just playing on the safe lane, but can also be a mid lane hero in a pinch. So VGJ.Thunder do have some pretty decent mix-ups in terms of their lanes. They could go aggro with the Jakiro PA Sand King. I think their tri-lane is better than the LGD tri-lane. Jakiro is just such a dominant force in tri-lane versus tri-lane. I think the big thing for me in this comparing these two tri-lanes is comparing kind of the maximum potential of these heroes, right? So Tusk, what you actually want is they want to lift somebody back, they want to isolate them with the ice shards, and then do as much rocket barrage damage as they can. But VGJ.Thunder, they can get kills with a one-man burst strike, a one-man dual breath, and some dagger spam. But if they get the right situation, they can get a two-man or three-man burst strike, and then a big dual breath over the top, and that can potentially just get them a 3-for-nothing. So definitely a lot more. The ceiling is much higher on these heroes for tri-lane versus tri-lane in terms of their effectiveness. But LGD just going to grab Tiny. You see PA. You definitely want some burst damage.
10 seconds remaining.
Try and get as much burst damage as you can muster. So I like the Tiny from that perspective.
Remaining.
Very solid laner. Can potentially kill any of these heroes on the VGJ.Thunder side once he gets his initial levels and gets that Blink Dagger or Shadow Blade. So looking good, gives them some more initiation, which they do definitely need. And Tiny, not the complete garbage armor hero that he once used to be, so actually might be alright against the PA. He's fairly beefy. I'm interested to see what the PA build is going to end up being. I feel like if it's Sylar playing it, he is just going to end up buying a Battle Fury. And probably playing for like Battle Fury, Deso, BKB, Abyssal Blade, something like that. Maybe into a Nullifier after that, or a Rapier. Why not? If you're gonna be buying a relic, Sylar does have a bit of a trigger finger when it comes to just buying a whole Rapier.
LGD's turn to ban.
Could end up happening. Maybe he just needs to buy a Rapier in every game that they play today. Again, this is their last game for today, so maybe 3 games, 4 Rapiers wouldn't be too bad. Pugna going to be banned out. This hero has been trending a little bit more in China. We're not going to be seeing the Night Stalker in this game, but I guess that's because both teams opened with some pretty premium position 4 heroes. Beastmaster, not necessarily an out-of-the-ordinary ban, but hasn't been seeing as much ban hate, I suppose. He's just been getting picked quite a bit.
LGD's turn to pick.
And we are going to have a Razor banned. Could either team... no, I don't think either team could really brood in this situation, right? Both teams have decent answers, enough lockdown, I think, for a Broodmother. That hero's just been creeping around in Pro Dota recently. I think it's been on a lot of people's minds.
5 seconds
very,
remaining.
very annoying. For LGD, I don't even know what lane they're necessarily looking for here. It's probably mid, but it could be the Gyrocopter mid, and they could pick something else up safe lane. Look, I'm gonna throw out Zeus. Actually, no, Zeus is unplayable against PA.
Radiant team
Never mind. It's so good against Puck, and like pretty good against Sand King, but Zeus is so god awful to play against Phantom Assassin. But LGD gonna go for Earthshaker. I think this slows down their lineup by a lot. I feel like I've made myself known in terms of my opinions on Earthshaker, but people probably haven't been watching all of these DPL casts today. I feel like Earthshaker is just really weak at the moment. Farms quite slowly, doesn't really do enough damage. I don't know where they're gonna put him here. I guess
now select your
Shaker
heroes.
is going off lane. Yeah, Chalice gonna be handling it, but I don't know. Have they just opened themselves up to being aggro tri-laned here? Like, you put the Puck versus the Shaker. Okay, Earthshaker is typically quite a good hero against Puck. You got the instant initiation, you got tons of lockdown, you can kill him off before he has any opportunity to react, but I can't imagine that the laning matchup is all that easy, and VGJ.Thunder gonna go for a mid lane Kunkka, so it's not just Secret who are picking this. I like it quite a bit this game. It's pretty tanky, doesn't necessarily die instantly to a tiny combo. The Rum helps a lot against Gyrocopter with the Flak Cannon and all of his AoE damage, so it's going to make this PA very difficult to burst, so long as Sylar does get clipped with that during the fight. So I like that quite a bit, and the lockdown is also going to be very good this game, I think. Their catch is insane. They've got Sand King for catch, they got the X marks the spot, Sylar's throwing daggers, Puck's jumping around. Once you engage into this lineup, I don't see you escaping all that easily. And like I said, I feel like LGD's damage is going to be a little bit slow to come online. They need a blink on the Tiny, they need a blink on the Earthshaker to be able to do anything, and I don't think the same is really true for the... Cool to see them trying some stuff out. But I think that's really what VGJ.Thunder need to be doing at the moment if they want to start actually taking first in some of these events that they've been going to and not just getting second. They need to diversify their hero pool a little bit, try and figure out some more strategies, have some more stuff up their sleeve. Alright, are we going to have an aggro lane here? That's the question. Nope, Sylar is running bottom. He's got a Battle Fury to farm. He doesn't want to bother with a tri-lane versus tri-lane, it looks like. Okay, who's scouting who here? I don't see anybody down here just yet. Radiant team yet to spot
30
anybody
seconds
either.
to battle.
So both teams doing a pretty good job of concealing their lanes so far, but as we said, looks like it's going to be pretty standard stuff. Tiny is going to be heading over towards the mid lane. I don't actually know how easy this matchup is for him against Kunkka. I mean, he's got 0 armor, so I think the harassment from Tidebringer is actually going to add up pretty quickly. And he can't really trade. Maybe he can kind of trade hits with Kunkka a little bit.
Notice your tribute.
I mean, the cleave isn't reduced by armor value anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But it just seems... I think it's tough for melee heroes to play against Kunkka. We'll see. They do both have cleave, so... Maybe Tiny can just kind of win the deny war, but... easier said than done. They both have Quelling Blade, 54 base damage versus... Alright, what's Tiny's damage without the tree? I forget. And I can't check the tooltip because... yeah. Alright, there's that first deny. Got a little bit of action happening up top. Just some harassment out onto Ame. Dropping down reasonably low off of that. Faye gonna come back in for one more little love tap, and that's gonna be the end of that. They are trying to help out this Earthshaker down bottom here, but DDC and Sylar still laying in with the harassment. The dual breath getting spammed through. This is a pretty big creep wave building up. VGJ.Thunder do have to be a little bit careful about that. DDC getting slowed down by the Orb of Venom, but the Shaker doesn't really have anything to contribute. He's got Enchant Totem at level 1. First Blood's actually happening up at top. Fade and Yang going in once again, and X-Nova nothing that he can do. He just throws out the Fade Bolt, and that's it. Oh, and FY getting slowed down. DDC with this non-stop dual breath spam. They do both have salves, so FY going to be able to top himself back up, but this is really... kind of scary that the Gyro Cup is getting pressured like this. And I think this is a big reason why teams love the Sand King pick so much. Looks like Somnus is doing just fine over at mid. Free's not really dominating this lane at all. Does have a salve to heal himself back up. And yeah, Fade has a Clarity and a salve, so he's going to be fine. Might try and make a rotation over to mid a little bit later on. We got an avalanche happening. As Sylar just gonna pause, say nothing, and disconnect. Okay. Alright, so Gyro Cup is a little bit behind, but I mean far from being unrecoverable. I think the biggest problem for LGD is that the Tusk kind of has to stay down here. Oh, I guess the other big reason that LGD picked the Earthshaker is that you can't miss with Enchant Totem, right? So it's actually pretty good against PA. You can burst down PA pretty hard. You don't care about the blur at all. Maybe I'm selling Earthshaker a little bit short. Maybe this will be a good game. Good against Puck, good against PA, but I feel it's similar in a lot of ways to, say, like a Timbersaw, right? There's a lot of matchups where, on paper, it's like, oh, this is a great Timbersaw game, but the question comes down to whether or not, like, is Timbersaw a good hero? And I think that's the same problem that Shaker is having right now. Like, even though in this particular game he has good matchups, I feel like just the power level of this hero is a little bit low right now. You know, maybe Chalice is going to prove me wrong. We'll see how it goes. He's getting pretty decent farm so far. Actually, 8 CS to his name, so that's looking good. But definitely needs to get that Blink Dagger nice and fast, have a big impact early on, but that's what FY is trying to set up for him right now. Fade running in towards X-Nova here. Greet him with a burst strike. They do manage to get the lift up onto the puck. Yang's a little bit low, but looks like she still gets this X-Nova kill, and now Yang jaunts off to the side. FY did come TPing in to find the turnaround here. Doesn't take too much, just a couple of auto attacks. And they will end up grabbing the 1-for-1, but they now know that the Shaker is all by his lonesome down at bottom, so not going to let Chalice get away with too much. Still managing to CS underneath the nose of DDC. Also going to try and aggro away this creep, but it's not going to work. Nice attempt. X-Nova gonna come in here and finally manage to deward his pull. Very important that you have access to this as Rubik. Yeah, but still has this Sand King illusion to contend with. And now FY is staring down the mid lane. Who's got a TP available to help this out? Sand King actually does. What's that? Freeze gonna be in some trouble. Snowball coming in. TP reaction now on its way. Torrent getting thrown out. They do have an X-Arch to spot ready. FY still pretty tanky. Avatos combo ready to go, but actually catches the toss onto the Tusk. Not enough damage for Fade. He's also got himself a Fairy Fire. Fairy Fire is getting popped on both sides. Freeze with Cleave. Does finish the kill. It's just a position 4 for position 4 trade. There's another toss off cooldown for maybe. And both these mid heroes are just going to go right back to farming. FY after that, runs straight bottom, grabs himself a bounty. Psylocke taking quite a bit of harassment off this Earthshaker. DDC hasn't really been able to zone him out, so it looks like FY intervening down at bottom lane has had the desired effect. Chalice going to try and interrupt this pull through. Is he going to be successful? There's a haste on this Tusk. FY really wants this mid kill. Freeze is half HP. Can he get a nice torrent down? He drops it, but doesn't really connect on anything. And now with the toss, Freeze, nice wand charge is going to keep him up. FY waiting to try for the snipe with the ice shards, but it's still on cooldown for a little bit. Fade kind of sitting around here wondering exactly what he's supposed to be doing as Earthshaker gets chased down and dropped at bottom. And action up top as well. Yang, very short range jaunt, but it's going to be enough to get him out of harm's way. And this Gyrocopter CS is still abysmal. Oh, missed another kill. Fade and Freeze. Team him back up. Grab that kill on the mid lane. What even happened to him? Just burrow torrent. Dead. Lift back. Yang once again gonna jaunt himself out. Lots of action this game across the board, but VGJ.Thunder getting a little bit better out of it so far. Definitely gonna be very important that maybe just gets off the ground running. But still going to take him a little while to get that point. Freeze. Caught out once again. They go for the X-Torrent combo onto the Tiny. Is that going to open up enough space for him to get out of here? The Shaker also dies down bottom. Freeze. One more auto attack is going to finish him. Just a bloodbath. Everywhere that the position 4s are going, there's kill after kill after kill.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And after a quick shrine, the VGJ.Thunder supports are going to continue moving across. They will be scouted by this Observer Ward. Can they catch Somnus? Looks like they won't be able to. Yang has already used the orb. It's only on cooldown for another second. Looking towards Ame. Does have another Rocket Barrage, so can't really jaunt in aggressively. Fade's just going to run after.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
X-Nova grabs a couple of bouncy runes on the side. Chalice just working on grabbing a bottle. Those deaths really set him back. CS decent, but other than that, not looking great. Somnus with a bit of an experience advantage right now. Snowball coming in over towards Yang. Nice phase shift, gonna dodge the stun, but still getting Rocket Barrage down. Fade already using the Burrow Strike. Not really catching anything, and DDC throws out a completely useless Dual Breath. Silas still taking lots of damage off the Shaker, but giving as good as he's getting. He does have the coup de grace now as well, hoping for a couple of crits here. Gets the one. Can he finish this kill? Should be able to if he can keep the vision for the dagger. Does have 17 wand charges, but not willing to dive. Chalice pokes his head back out, grabs one more CS, and it looks like maybe over to the shrine for him. To heal up. Oh, Tiny a little bit too far forward on the mid lane. Freeze taking some damage. Nice Burst Strike, gonna catch onto 2. They do have the lift from X-Nova. Gonna try and drag Fade back into tower range. Freeze with the cleave. Ice Shard's gonna keep him locked in there, but DDC still doing a good job with the dual breath. Snowball, Freeze running away from his team. And Ame actually also coming in here. Torrent not gonna connect onto anything. They do have the creep wave there, splitting the damage somewhat. Another Burrow Strike. Freeze still alive. Fade now into the Sandstorm. Should be finished off by the call down. Will drop in the end. Sylar also rotating across. Way too deep. All of LGD are here. He wanted that maybe kill, but the Tiny is just way too tanky at this stage of the game, and they're not even done. DDC also going to be brought down. That is a 4-man wipe on the mid lane as LGD bring the numbers. Yang didn't have a TP. Unable to get over there. Just going to take some farm up top, but LGD going to get a big win out of that. Fade realizing that the may have been scouted as they made their way in, so it gets a quick D-ward, but that was a huge win for the LGD side. Chalice going to be able to grab his bottle, so that's some nice farm sustain for him. Can they get this DDC kill? The shards, slowing him down, nice Fisher block, so much chain stun. DDC does have all that attack speed slow though, making this a little bit more difficult. The Echo Slam being committed, it doesn't do that much damage. The creep wave is going to help out and finish off that kill. As Sylar is hunting. Smoked up, only level 6. Everybody just running around everywhere this game. Kind of nothing but fighting heroes on both sides. But Ame not having any of it. Sees nobody down bottom, knows that nobody's farming down there. And the puck is going to kind of reveal the fact that the PA is off doing something else. Yeah, Sylar even popping out to start grabbing a couple more creeps. So unsuccessful smoke for them. They wanted to use the Dream Coil. They wanted to find a kill. Couldn't do it. X-Nova with a smoke. Gonna try and come in here and get a couple more wards down over in the Radiant jungle. Chalice taking some auto attacks. They can drop a Dream Coil for this. Yeah, he's gonna use it. Do they have enough burst damage? Chalice might die in the fountain. And he will. TP just a little bit too early. But though if he'd waited any longer, the Illusory Orb would have been back off cooldown. Very nicely played by Yang. Just waiting for that orb cooldown until he used the coil. Alright, so he'll be able to get some damage on bottom. The Rubik just TP'd up top. They do have the Home Whistle over on Sylar. Burst Strike through from Fade. Cooldown just going to be used to secure this little neutral stack as VGJ.Thunder try and steal a portion of the experience. They're going to get a little bit. They are now jumping in as well with the call down on cooldown. Ame doesn't really have that much to contribute. The snowball's coming forward. This fight's splitting up in not such a great way for VGJ.Thunder, but Sylar runs in. He wants to commit, but the Rocket Barrage is just doing way too much damage. Ice Shard's now going to catch them both out. Freeze is here. He does have the boat ready to go. Maybe jumping forward. They will be able to jump Sylar back. Avatar's combo kills off DDC. Another 2-man burst strike there from Fade. Can they actually get the Kunkka involved? Freeze just kind of running around in circles, not doing anything. And VGJ.Thunder ends up being a very awkward engagement.
Gold from my
Yang,
chest.
how much damage did he get on this tier 1? It's half HP. That's pretty solid. Puck actually going to have a blink soon. So maybe that'll be the beginning of VGJ.Thunder starting to close. That's a very minor gap at the moment, but neither of these two carries having a spectacular game. Tiny not going to be going for Blink, is instead opting for the Shadow Blade this game. Free is just going to go for an Armlet, pretty standard Kunkka fare. And looks like Fade is very eager to take over this bottom lane farm once Yang picks up his Blink, since he has pretty much no Blink Dagger progress to speak of. Maybe an FY really wanted this Sylar kill, but no such luck. And BDC doing the Jakiro thing with the Liquid Fire. They do have action down bottom. Epicenter coming through along with the 2 Meg Bow. Echo Slam going to get dropped. They might actually be able to turn this one around. Gyrocopter looking for kills, and he will get the one. That's a mega kill streak for Ame. Somnus running forward. Might just be able to toss the Gyrocopter on top of the Sand King. Will do so. There's a Burrow Strike ready for Fade. Finds a nice little angle. We'll be able to escape, but that was the puck. Blink Dagger being revealed just for the Earthshaker kill. What have they managed to steal? It is just the X marks the spot, the boat getting thrown out, but not connecting for any damage. He's trying to chase down FY, doesn't have any spells. X-Nova with the stolen X marks the spot. Actually going to buy a little bit of time as the Tiny comes over to this fight, but Fade does have a Burrow Strike ready, sitting down on the low ground. Reads the situation and I think makes the right call. There's just no way that they're killing this 1400 HP Tiny. Oh god, Chalice is dead again.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Shaker's Blink just seems like it's not too distant of a dream, but 1200 gold is not a Blink Dagger. And Fade now going to start farming up his. If the Sand King beats the Earthshaker to Blink, this is a pretty sad situation. X-Nova deciding that he prefers the level 2 X marks the spot to the maxed out, well not the maxed out, but the 3-point waning rift. It is definitely a little bit easier to use, but both pretty crappy range abilities. Sylar just committing hard for the Battle Fury. We've seen how Sylar likes to play, and we've seen how VGJ.Thunder like to play around Sylar. They just don't. Sand King dead down bottom. We've seen how they like to play around Sylar. They just like to give him a ton of space on the map, let him farm with his Battle Fury, do his thing, be #1 on net worth, and just kind of take over the game that way. Maybe he needs another 400 gold until he completes his Shadow Blade. Sylar is going to miss the top tier 1 tower last hit, so he is human after all. Does occasionally make mistakes. Yang, gonna be going for Yule Scepter next. Gyrocopter going for straight up Aghanim's. Very interesting. It does make him quite tanky, and it is a good farming item, but it's a little bit strange. I guess you can kind of think of it as being similar to the Battle Fury on your melee cores, but definitely gonna take some farm for that big multiplier effect to really kick in. You know, the Ags makes every item that you get with it more effective, but if you just have an Ags, it doesn't really do that much for you. You've got a pretty puny auto attack, but Ame sticking to his guns, or his side guns, as the case may be. VGJ.Thunder with a smoke. I feel like I don't know, this Kunkka hasn't really felt that dominant so far, but he's got 3 points up in Xbox the spot now. They got good lockdown, they got good team fight, just need to find the right target. FY coming across here. The EDC, smoke's gonna break. Do they realize what's going on? They're gonna drop the Dream Coil over onto Chalice. He's just gonna sit here and get comboed down, it looks like. Nice silence. The boat also flying through. The Macro Pyre from the other side. They're using so many ultimates to find this Earthshaker kill. Well, they do get the stun over onto the puck, gets hit by the homing missile, but not enough damage. And on the other side of the fight, it continues. FY getting brought down. Nice stolen ghost ship from X-Nova, opens up a little bit more space, but that's a double kill for Freeze. He also catches the Torrent onto the Rubik. Call down might finish off Fade, and it will. Ame from the high ground doing decent damage. DDC's kind of trapped in the river, but no way that Gyrocopter wants to do anything else here. Somna's just waiting for Freeze up on the high ground. Couple more auto attacks are going to do it. Goes straight into the Shadow Blade, and DDC just going to take his opportunity to TP himself out. So overall fight ends up being a core and 2 supports for a support and a core. Numbers wise, very, very even. Poor Shaker gets pretty much nothing out of that fight, but at least they managed to kill the Sand King. So 2 Blink Daggers getting slowed down. Tiny getting closer to his, which is definitely nice. Gyrocopter quite close to his Ags. And how's X-Nova doing? Well, he's definitely the hard 5 this game. 1.6k net worth on Rubik. 16 minutes into the game. FY doing his best to babysit Chalice as he finishes his Blink. Sylar almost has his Battle Fury. So lots of farming tools getting completed for the position 1s. So, nope. I gotta keep my eyes on this Tiny. He's getting... I am missing so many of his kills. Just bursts down Yang. Did opt for the 30 damage talent this game. Fade and Freeze moving up into the Dire jungle. I think they went unscouted, but it was a pretty dangerous move. DDC gonna come in here, pop down a sentry, spots a sentry from the Dire side. Freeze and Fade, if they manage to find Ame's here underneath the tower, but I don't think they have quite the burst damage to finish it. No way. Yeah, nice shards, but Fade just gonna burn himself out of there, and just ends up being a bunch of attention turned towards the mid lane. Sylar didn't care at all though. He was just off hitting creeps with his Battle Fury. And this is where he's probably slowly but steadily gonna start taking over that #1 net worth spot. Gonna be up to the Tiny to try and slow him down. I think the PA is actually insanely difficult to deal with in the late game this game. Like, Tiny as a core doesn't really scale that hard in terms of his right click damage. I think a big, there's a big reason that we see so much offlane Tiny. And I think that Sylar is going for Ancients. They're just a little bit off. He's actually over here at the big camp. Would be great to find a kill on him, and should be nice and easy. They're gonna unveil this Chalice Blink Dagger. Samus jumps in with his Blink. Very quick pick off. So even though these tier 1 towers still stand for Thunder, LGD managing to make a couple of smokes happen and get past them, continue finding these kills. How many smokes did actually? I can't check anymore because
prize.
yeah, the smoke stock doesn't show. I wish I knew how many smokes they had left. Ah well.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under
Freeze
attack.
is going straight
Radiant's
BKB
top tower has fallen.
after the armlet. I guess it does make sense. Quite a lot of magical damage. Though there's
Are scanning.
a lot of magical damage that a BKB
Dire
might
structures
not
are
necessarily help you
fortified.
avoid. Like, if you're getting Blink Echoed, you're not getting your BKB off. If you're getting Blink Avatossed, you're not getting your BKB off. If you're getting like Blink Punch Snowballed,
Dire's bottom
you're not getting your
tower has
BKB
been
off.
denied.
But it's still good idea, I think, for him in general. Helps him run in and maybe run in through a call down, do his job. FY snowballing over onto DDC. Looks like he might just get left for dead here. Yang does throw down a Dream Coil, but not really doing too much else. Boat gonna come flying through. They get the lift up onto the puck. Burrow Strike stolen by X Nova, but it looks like Yang should still be okay, though they are gonna chase him a little bit further. Shard's not gonna scout him out. Over on the other side of the fight, Fade trying to make his escape. Tries for the TP out. He's just in the trees! Gets finished off by one more punch. They can still see through there and finish him up. And Sylar continues to farm. This is very much the VGJ.Thunder game plan. Ame picking up a Morbid Nest. Also gonna just be rushing BKB.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And
Dire's
LGD doing a
top
good job
tower
of getting
is
these
under
deep wards
attack.
down. Continuing the pickoffs, maybe having an absolutely spectacular performance on his Tiny. Now gonna scout out the puck. Another Avatoss combo, another kill. Godlike streak for him. Freeze and DDC gonna do what they can, but the Echo Slam gonna keep them locked down. And now the Tiny is free once again to continue his reign of terror. Kunkka might be able to get off the boat. He gets tossed skyward and he's dead by the time he hits the ground. LGD.
Radiant's middle tower
Tier 2
under
tower is
attack.
still full HP, but they dive right
Dire's
past
top
it.
tower is under
Grab 3
attack.
kills. And should be able to finish this tower up as well. There is a Radiant Glyph available. Fade's sitting here inside the ice shards,
Radiant's middle tower is
thinking
under
longingly about Epi blinking into this fight. But FY knows exactly what he's up to. Puck just going to be going for an Aeon Disc.
attack. Radiant's middle
Okay,
tower
kind of
has
sick
fallen.
of being bursted by Tiny. I'm still going to argue that I don't think the Shaker is doing that much this game, but maybe Somnus is overperforming on his Tiny. Very good Tiny game. Has died once. 10, 1, and 5. Gonna have his S and Y before too long. Sylar still needs a little bit to finish his Deso. And they haven't managed to get these D wards over here. DDC being a little bit stingy with the sentries may regret that. Maybe he's already kind of in amongst their back lines, but they don't have everybody here just yet. Gyrocopter running over. Wave gonna get dragged, and they're just looking for the angle. DDC pops down the sentry. Maybe up on the high ground they are going to try and go and burst this Gyrocopter, but I think he's just a little bit too tanky. Freeze still alive, getting helped out. Tiny laying in the auto attacks onto DDC. The Macropie are doing decent work. Ame still trapped inside of it. They've lost the puck in a second, it looks like. Does manage to dodge one more. Sylar jumps in, finds that Tiny kill. Huge streak for him to end. Fade just wants one more touch onto the Gyro. It's actually going to be a double for Sylar. Now he looks towards FY, and I think Sylar should be able to clean up this entire fight. Chalice is over at mid. Looks like Fade will be brought down. FY with an Ice Shards might be able to push himself up onto the high ground, but won't be given the opportunity as Sylar cuts him down with one more crit. And LGD just left to go and lick their wounds at the shrine. Let's have a look at that fight recap. Kunkka actually did so
Dire's
much
bottom
damage.
tower
Wow.
is under attack.
4.6k, really? That's crazy. Jakiro kind of holding his own as well, and Sylar was pretty much just the cleanup crew. Rubric's got a haste, he'll be fine. X Nova, what's he stolen? X marks the spot. But that is so brutal for the Tiny to go down like that. And I think a big part of that fight is just how strong the rum is from Kunkka. Maybe he dropped his combo on Kunkka, he didn't die. Then he was just sort of stuck, isolated from his team. The Gyrocopter did everything that he could to push up the hill and do damage, but a lot of the flak cannon kind of getting absorbed. And just a really awkward angle for LGD to be fighting with their tiny stuck up here and the gyrocopter down here. Couldn't link up and do what they wanted. FY, DDC pinned in here by the ice shards. Just gonna take that time out to do a little bit of de-warding. And punched up as well. There is a call down and a snowball. Fade, no force staff or anything to save, and they're just gonna go in with the burst strike, but X-Nova steals that immediately, turns it back around. Not the best play from the Sand King. Yang also kind of committing. It's to be careful, the Tiny's on his way, and so is the Earthshaker. They've got the Echo Slam, they're gonna try and burst down the Kunkka. He gets off the boat once again. Sylar, is he interested in this fight? Throws out a dagger, but he gets blink dodged, and Freeze looking like he is dead as soon as this homing missile comes in. His armlet toggling for dear life, but that toss will finish him. Earthshaker doesn't have Aghanim Scepter just yet, but Somna still sends him flying. And LGD, now what? Roshan? Looks like the call. BKB is ready for the gyro. Big pickup for him. BKB also completed for Sylar after that fight, claiming his rightful place on the net worth throne. LGD, they want the Roche, but this is a little bit dangerous. They don't take it that quickly. Orb's gonna be scouting things out. They do spot DDC, but Avatos combo whiffs completely from Tiny. Actually, he still had the toss. But now he's locked down, and that crit does so much damage. X-Nova with the stolen burst strike, turning things around, but they will still lose the Tiny. Now he's stolen himself an orb. Will he be able to jaunt himself away? Sylar, BKB against BKB, just focusing on the gyrocopter. He is life stealing up a little bit. Sylar wants to jump away. They're gonna come and use the shrine. Good decision making. Both BKBs gonna end up wearing out. They're trying to heal up their gyrocopter if they can. Rubik still playing around on the backsides of this fight. Doesn't get crit down instantly, but it is actually the puck going down. Tiny buying back, rejoining the fight, wants to kill Sylar. Can they finish him? Fade with the burst strike. Opens up the space, turn around for the dagger. FY dropping low. DDC now also arriving here. And Freeze should be able to lock them down. This looks like it might be a dieback for Somnus. Can he at least bring down Sylar with him? Looks like he won't be able to. And triple kill for Sylar. VGJ.Thunder. Just the kind of lineup where once you're committed, you are so stuck. And it's impossible to get away from them. Sylar, I think, immaculate decision making in that fight. Like, his BKB was wearing out. He knew that Gyrocopter's BKB was a little bit longer than his. So he runs back, he hits the shrine with his puck, kites things out. They see the tiny buyback, they don't panic, they keep on fighting. So I was like, this is gonna play Rapier again? It boggles the mind. Sylar is just a Rapier buying fiend. He's addicted to Rapier. He's drunk on power. Let's see if this is gonna be the game where he gets punished for it. Like, come on. How is he gonna get away with it this game? They don't have a reliable say. Like, if he's out of position and then he gets blink echoed and blink avatossed, he just straight up dies. He does have the Aegis for now, but you know, a rapier on this gyrocopter would definitely be or handing a rapier to this gyrocopter, I think, would be a surefire way to lose the game. So we'll see. FY's got a blink. He's also going to get involved in some of these initiation fiascos that have been going on. There's people jumping everywhere. Tiny's progression has crawled to a halt. He hasn't even got this S&Y just yet. Wants another pickoff, but the VGJ.Thunder heroes starting to scale in terms of their hit points just a little bit ahead of his combo damage. And Freeze spamming out the lanes. Ame just farming his way towards an MKB. Feels like he desperately needs it against the PA. And how is our good friend Earthshaker doing? Just grabbing a Ghost Scepter. I'm going to be going for a Force Staff after that. It's just kind of tough for him in the fights. He is getting focused quite heavily. They're dangling Freeze as bait down here, and VGJ.Thunder trying to cut the path off. Gonna go for the gyrocopter. They do get the first stun off onto him. He won't be able to get his BKB off. Sylar with the crit. Drops him from a 3rd down to 0. Godlike Streak picked up, and with that, he's gonna add the Sacred Relic to his inventory. One step closer towards the Divine Rapier. Gyrocopter dead for 30 seconds. No real way to defend this tier 2 tower. They do have a glyph. They are going to be able to take out the tier 1 up top. But LGD just a step behind. And PA still has the Aegis intact for another, what, 2.5 minutes? Sylar 1k away from Divine Rapier. And I guess that's where the game's going to get really interesting. Freeze has his BKB now as well. Yang with the Aeon Disc and a gem. And there you go. Rapier at the ready. How will LGD manage to deal with this? Somnus running around on the backlines, but he is just going to get spotted by the gem. Immediately Dream Coiled up. Looks like it should be a free death for him. The dagger hits. Can Sylar jump in and finish him off? Somnus is outside of his BKB now. Yang trying to catch him. Nicely played. Toss back along with the blink. He makes it out. Oh, but they've managed to catch them over at mid. X-Nova? Oh, no, not X-Nova. FY. Saving X-Nova with the snowball. Fade's still chasing, though. They want these kills. Chalice forced to pop his Ghost Scepter, but I think he's just going to get bursted down shortly. Sylar looking for the opening. Cuts off the Earthshaker's head. He's trapped inside of those ice shards for now. And Yang just going to be TPing back to heal himself up. Freeze stands guard. Thomas might be able to get a toss back into the base, but Freeze just a little bit too far away. Dream Coil still on cooldown for 15 seconds. Everybody claritying up from VGJ.Thunder as they prepare themselves to make the most of this Aegis. They have to be careful with the timer. It's only 1 minute, but Sylar does still have a 9-second BKB available. They're going to X him up. Go up onto the high ground. Yang trying to jump in onto X-Nova beyond Godlike Streak for Sylar. Does get caught by the homing missile. Maybe, probably tracking that Aegis timer very closely. Might look for a toss back into the tier 4 towers. I think that might be their best opportunity, but even after that, they're going to have to lock him down before he gets the BKB off. They need their Earthshaker. He's up in 1 second. Respawning now. They don't have a glyph, and Sylar is just laying waste to the racks. Melee barracks gone. Dagger, not going to be a crit. Ame still okay for now. The homing missile does connect. Sylar, 25 seconds to go. I don't know if he really wants to be X'd up at this point in time, but... Alright, all that's left for VGJ.Thunder now is to retreat. Not give away any kills. Freeze still ready to jump in. Yang, same story. FY wants the initiation. Let's drag them in somewhat. Yeah, but VGJ.Thunder just annihilate him. Aegis gets reclaimed. And they head straight onto the shrine. My god, Tiny just fell off a cliff, and now PA has 22k net worth.
Dire's bottom shrine.
I mean, Rapier's a very efficient item if you don't lose it, and they're now up 1 lane of racks. Tusk still dead for 30 seconds, does have a buyback. LGD just looks scared. They're like, alright, we just gotta wait for this creep wave to push all the way up to our tier 4s so we can farm it. Try and get this MKB on the Gyrocopter, and hope that we can somehow isolate the PA and kill her off. Sylar, to try and prevent that, is going to be going for the Satanic.
I'll take your treatment.
Dire's top shrine.
Yang's almost got an Ags, man. The amount of gold flowing into this team has just been ridiculous. We had all these kills from LGD, and then recently it's just been VGJ.Thunder, 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 VGJ.Thunder. LGD smoke out. Oh, I don't know if this ward would have scouted any of this rotation, but I mean, Thunder still being pretty careful, hovering around their shrine. They do have the Reaver for Sylar. A little bit more difficult to bring him down at this point. Yule's up for Fade. Anything that they can do to buy time for Sylar in these fights is going to be very important. Ooh, Freeze almost goes running up onto that high ground, but thinks better of it.
Dire's top tower
Kunkka, pretty standard itemization coming up. Going for a Daedalus. Can't let Sylar be the only one having fun with the big crits.
8 knots and full ahead.
LGD having to resort to just farming as a team. The Gyrocopter got picked off over here before, and that was really what felt like the beginning of the end. That one rotation from VGJ.Thunder, so they're not willing to risk any more of those fights. But that does mean that they're just going to get out farmed. Do they have a gem of their own? They do not. So maintaining vision on the map going to be a little bit difficult. Everybody's still just watching Ame farm. They are crossing their fingers that this MKB is going to be the answer that they need against Sylar. But he's gonna have his level 25 pretty soon. Actually, is his level 25 even that impactful this game? 5% critical. I mean, just another third on your critical chance. Though at this point it's starting to feel like one crit is probably enough for anyone on the LGD side. And if VGJ.Thunder really wanted to, they could probably just wait around for the next Roshan. LGD are certainly not farming, as evidenced by how long this 500 gold for the MKB is taking to farm. Is this a super fast Roshan respawn? Oh my god, it's a near instant Roshan respawn. They haven't even scouted it yet, because VGJ.Thunder probably don't even think that... They're like, it's gonna take another minute at least. Great positioning up here on the high ground. I don't know if they spotted this smoke. They're gonna see the tree disappear mysteriously. 4 heroes down here. Sylar ready. Smoke breaks. LGD panic. Run away. 2-man on the coil. Tiny in big trouble. Just gets right click down. Chalice doing his best with the Echo Slam, but it's not going to be enough. He gets caught by the boat. Buyback immediately from Tiny, but Sylar is just chopping through everybody. Chalice is about to be brought down. Ama's BKB still has half the duration left. Sylar jumping forward. Still has the Satanic. Somnus, can he find an opportunity? The rest of VGJ.Thunder is ready to help. Yang sets up with the vision. They get the X back. They've even got the ward up here on the high ground. There is a buyback for the Gyrocopter. Somnus gonna try and escape. Gyro with the buyback. FY. Dodging for dear life. But VGJ.Thunder looks like they are just gonna disengage. Freeze, is he gonna go scout the Roche? Nope, he's TPing out. Okay, well they forced 2 buybacks. Their net worth lead is even more ridiculous. Sylar just wants his BKB to cool back down. We're gonna shrine up. And Manfly's being a nuisance. But mid lane's already pushing in. Sylar's chasing him. This dagger's gonna hurt. Not even a crit. Big chunk of FY's health. Now they catch the Gyrocopter off to the side. BKB ready to go for the Sylar, and he just wants to finish off the Gyro. Finish off this game. Beyond godlike streak. Fade does get juked out a little bit. Chalice able to blink himself back out. FY also escaping. But with Gyrocopter in the hole for 80 seconds, I see no way to defend this Roshan. Aegis and Chief going to be claimed by VGJ.Thunder, and with an Aegis in hand, I think Sylar is more than equipped to end this game.
Roshan has fallen to the radiant.
You're a trusty mate.
I don't know how to feel about this rapier. It's cool and it's so ballsy from Sylar. Like the fact that he's bought 4 rapiers in 3 games today
Dire's top tower
is
is under attack.
absolutely ridiculous. But there you go. No need for phase boots. He's got the Aegis. The rest of his team is just
Dire's top tower
providing the
has
lockdown
fallen.
for him. We gotta look at the damage numbers at the end of this game, actually, because
Dire's top barracks has fallen.
it feels like Sylar is really the only
Dire's
one
top barracks
killing
are under
anybody, but
attack.
that's all that they need. Alright, melee barracks down. Sylar just makes a beeline for this bottom tier 3. FY setting up, but Yang's gonna go and make life hard for him. Got the Dream Coil down into 2. They don't want to use too many spells on the puck, but now they're gonna get stunned up. Fade jumps in with his Burst Strike, only catching the 1. A bunch of heroes inside of the Snowball. Sylar now jumping in. BKB active. What can they actually find? They don't want to dive this fountain. 1 hits the tusk.
Dire's middle tower is under
BKB's
attack.
wearing down. And Sylar just gonna play the objective. Freeze. Not the same kind of story for him as they do try and go onto this Gyrocopter. Yang also helping out with the burst. Sylar jumps in. Tiny stuck in the ice path. Sylar wants to add a few more kills to the streak. 18, 2, and 10.
Dire's bottom tower
And with
is
that,
under
it was a long wait.
Dire's
But
bottom
VGJ.Thunder
tower has
give us... Oh, actually, you know what? Was it that good of a game? I guess it's always a pretty good game when we see a rapier purchase. Could he have won the game if he bought a nullifier? Probably. But would not have been as cool. That is for sure. So that's going to wrap it up for DPL coverage for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. For anybody wanting the scores, we had VGJ.Thunder 2-0ing Max. Then we had LFY 2-0 CDEC, and now we have VGJ.Thunder effectively 2-0ing LGD. LGD got a default loss in the first game, and then VGJ.Thunder win the second game. So if you care about the results for betting purposes, you may not be so happy about the fact that there was a default loss in the first game. I'm not actually sure how that works. I'm not big on Dota 2 betting, but let's have a look at that damage number real fast. And it is 42k, yeah. So the next closest on his team was 16k, which was the puck, but yeah, it's definitely been the Sylar show recently. When it comes to VGJ.Thunder's performances. They tried out the Kunkka. I don't know if I was all that wowed by Freeze's performance. Had some pretty solid combos. He landed the majority of his boats. That one boat, and I guess the whole team play from VGJ.Thunder around that first kind of Roshan area fight, I think was really crisp, really clean when they killed off the Tiny and kind of separated the Gyrocopter. And I felt like the Gyro just really wasn't able to do that much this game. I don't know if there's a problem with the build. Like maybe you can call the Ags a little bit greedy, but I don't know. Also, Shaker just does no damage. Please, what is up with this hero? Like this is their position 3, and he did the lowest damage in the game. He did less damage than Jakiro. I don't know. I feel like this happened a little while ago with me and Invoker, and I'm like, oh, Invoker's just I watched Invoker lose a bunch of pro games in a row, and I'm like, Invoker's just garbage. And now, and then people pick Invoker, and it still kind of works. And I'm watching Earthshaker lose all of these games, and I'm just like, Earthshaker's just garbage. I want him to be good, but he just seems super garbage. And I guess we're gonna have to. I need a team to change my mind. But I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. Maybe he'll get a wee buff in the next mini patch. Maybe that's what we're looking out for Earthshaker fans in the future. But that wraps it up for DPL action for today. I'm going to be back for Starladder China coverage tomorrow. I might hopefully find a co-caster for that. But I hope you guys were okay with the solo cast. If you want to leave me any feedback, you can find me on Twitter. My name's just down in the title. Not too difficult to find, but thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the DPL action, and I'll catch you for your cast sometime soon.